Okay, let's cut that out and start recording. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome in to this space, and I am delighted that you're here, first of all. Um, Let me just make sure you're on the right tab. Mhm. Okay. Right. Welcome again. That slight glitch. Um, Again, I'm so glad you're here. Or if you're watching this on record, fantastic. Welcome on in. This session is called ADHD Smart Speaking, how to make words stick and get conversations flowing. So I promise this is going to have some useful things that you can use right now, practical ideas and approaches, some key pieces of the puzzle if you have these struggles, whether you're here because you speaking feels like a struggle or just you're sick of being getting blank in on basic words mid-sentence in English, you're in the right place. So let's get started. I'm Carl, originally from the UK, but I'm currently living here with my family in the north of Spain, a beautiful region called Galicia, with my two boys, a lovely but lively cat, and my past life involved being a languages teacher at high schools, which was wonderful. But then we moved to Spain, and I also was diagnosed around that time with ADHD myself. So, as you might know, that opens up a few different angles to your life, and I found an opportunity in that. So I was really excited to start up platforms in English, which is my business essentially, and then more specifically, the Speak Your Mind course, um, which is I'll talk to you about later on. So, what are we going to do today? What's coming up? We have three pieces to the puzzle, essentially, I want to cover. Really straightforward, quite simple. Firstly, understanding what works and doesn't for your brain. We're going to talk about something I have a term I've created, which is called the flip flop flap. A speaking routine, again, that you can use right now, today, as again, another piece to that puzzle when you're trying to speak another language. Let me just turn this background noise off. There we go. And finally, I'll be talking to you about the course I've set up, Speak Your Mind course, which is a small group course, and I'm very, very excited to be sharing it with you finally. First, we're going to start with a quote which actually came from one of my students in October. One of the people I help. Um, I'm sure she wouldn't mind. Her name is Veronica. Shit. You see, I forgot it again. I'm so sorry. If you can hear yourself there, then I think that level of apology when you make a mistake, or the guilt that you sit with, the frustration, we've been there. I've been there. Many of the people I help also have been there. So we're going to start trying to address that. So let's get real about why this is hard. Okay, with ADHD, these things are sometimes amplified. They become more difficult. So working memory is one thing. Word retrieval, so remembering words that you were supposed to have learnt. You did it like yesterday. You heard this word yesterday. It hasn't come back to you. How do we resurface that language? We know it's there. And then RSD, which is rejection sensitive dysphoria, a fancy word which has kind of become a lot more popular recently, which is essentially fearing how you will be judged by others, feeling the pressure to get things perfect, to get things 100% right all the time. That's RSD. If you want more terms like this, I've made a phrase book with lots of the terms. Let me know, email or DM me about that, and I can send that over to you. No problem, for free. My question for you, though, is which of these do you think you most agree with? One, two, three. You can either think about it, type it into the chat, or I would just presume that it's all of them. Brilliant. So the flip, flop, flap. What the hell is this? You may have seen it in my emails. Essentially, I'm going to present this with a scenario. So you're at a work thing, you're at a work event. You've just survived a small talk with one person. Now somebody else turns to you and says, "So what you brought you to the UK?" They bring you on a different topic, and this is what goes on in your mind, according to this theory I made up. Flip. Oh, I knew this. I moved for work and a bit of a venture. Flop. Wait, what's the word for career change again? And flap. I'm blanking. They're waiting. This is awkward. Say something quick, and your mind just goes into a bit of a mess. So essentially, and this is it in theory, again, recapping it, you recognize situation or question, you've got this, you're ready, you have a word in your mind and it just goes, you can't find it, your brain is scrambling, and in the meantime, you flap. And as a result, you panic, you freeze, you overthink what you're going to say next. You probably say something, but it's not quite what you meant. So I think we need to think about an approach, antidote to that. So what can we do to start helping us with that? We can start with um, what really works for your brain. I want you to tell me if you agree with these ideas. I think we need to feel emotion and real life relevance when we're learning a language. I also think that the pressure needs to be off, particularly at the beginning, to build that level of calm and ease in this moment. And also, it needs to be varied. Our practice, when we're practicing speaking, needs to be varied, a bit of humor, short bursts of practice too, so not overlong. So I've tried to make this half an hour. Let's see if I keep to my word. I want you to tell me now, quickly, pop in the chat, which of these do you agree with? And would you add anything to that? Yeah, no pressure. Taking that pressure off is for me one of the biggest ones. So absolutely. Right. Now I want to show you a way to practice speaking alone that hopefully works for your brain. I know it does mine. So I've called it make a cup of tea. Don't do that now unless you've got a kettle next to your desk. But it's about starting with the small, boring, real life moments. Okay. So the low stakes formula goes as follows. Let's again learn it through a story. So let's call it the tea story. So I'm going to try and just talk about something very minor and day to day in my life. Okay. I made a cup of tea. Happens quite a lot in my house. But the milk had, and I'm going to try to develop my conversation there. But the milk had not crumbs, not pieces. What's the word? You could flip, flop, flap. You could divert, um, but you could compose yourself. So I think I'm going to say this aloud. This is the key bit. We're saying this aloud to ourselves on a voice note to artificial intelligence, etc. And that is the key part here, so that we go through the phases aloud. You might say something like, the milk had those little bits. I don't know the word. Tiny cream pieces. Okay. You get by. You get there. But it's changing that mindset when we're going through these stages. So again, let's recap that. Choose a micro moment in your life. I made it. So I made a tea, but the milk was weird. I'm going to speak it aloud, or this happened. I was doing this yesterday, walking down the street, pretending to send a voice note to somebody or speaking to ChatGPT, She responds, of course, in English. You can do that. That also continues that conversation a lot more. It's not human, but it's a starting point. Say it again in different moods. I just wanted tea, and the milk had blah blah blah. Say it in a way that shows that you're bored. Yeah, the milk was gross. It had like, or another way. Tea was cancelled yesterday. More formal, perhaps. I want you to think about now a small micro moment in your day, today, this morning, yesterday, whenever you're watching this. And I want you to go through that process right now. So I'll give you a moment just to think about or write it down. A small micro moment in your day. If you wanted, you can write it into the chat. If not, no pressure whatsoever. I went to the shop but forgot. Love it. Yeah, it kind of starts off a kind of a listing sequence or a consequence to that. So I love that. Tell that on the way back from the shops. You've done this activity, build it into your day. You're not making extra work for yourself. That's the clearest part here. So why does this work? The biggest reason this works is it creates momentum where we don't think we have an opportunity for. We are not trying to create the perfect situation that simulates being in the pressured environment. Somebody asked you a question. We are building up to that. Okay, so this is the part of the jigsaw puzzle. And you learn how to say something, even if it's messy. Okay, you start to build trust in yourself that you have got that language. Okay, and you're practicing in a way that feels safe, fun, and real. And then we can build that up to actually prepare for those situations. So, fancy keeping this going? Fancy keeping this this idea of preparing yourself for those in the moment conversation flip flop flaps. Okay, if you want to overcome it, I have created something specifically to help you with that. It's a 12-week group course. Speak Your Mind, the ADHD English Power Up. I would call it more ADHD friendly because I think lots of people will benefit it regardless of your neuro setup. Okay, whether you're identify as neurodivergent or not. It's launching on the 16th of April, and I'd love to see some of you there. In terms of what you can get out of this, it's built for around B2 ADHD learners, so B2, which is, I don't know, upper intermediate, if you like, roughly, because I think it's fair to have people at kind of a minimal level, so we're all more or less in the same area. We can help each other. There'll be different levels, absolutely, but I think it helps to have kind of a range. We'll have weekly real life speaking sessions, small groups, 5 people max, um, and tools to handle that moment where your mind blanks, where you don't feel like you have the words and keep you going. It's a safe space for you and the people that kind of struggle with the same things around you. So I really think it's a huge thing that you can benefit from being a part of that network. So there is a little bonus. If you message me or reply to this email with the words flip flop flap, you'll get 10% off the course because obviously that phrase deserves something, a discount, frankly. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want to talk it through anymore. My inbox is open. And here are some real words from real learners. I appreciate they don't look real, but they do exist. So Veronica, Consuelo, and Malu are all present and past people I've worked with, and they've got lots of nice things to say. Um, but they all started where many of us are nervous, perfectionist, and stuck in their heads a little bit, they might admit to you. Um, but with a little bit of support, they found their own way of speaking in a way that feels like them and is a lot less stressful. It's not magic. It's just about working with your brain. And I'm so excited to continue doing that in that group course. Thank you so much for being here with your brilliant brain and giving this time to your English journey. If you want to keep going, I'll be sending the follow-up email with the next steps and a little flip flop flap bonus. In the meantime, don't be a stranger. Reply to my email when you get it, and or drop me a message on socials, which you can see here. Have a lovely day, people, wherever you are, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.